そのソファーはローザ様が幼少の頃好んで横になられたものと聞いております。
Alright guys, welcome back to some more Umineko when they cry. Now, I just came out the shower, let's go. We're looking clean, smelling good. I hope you guys are too. Let's bring out the agenda that Umineko fans are clean. At this point, would you guys say at this point that I'm a Umineko fan? I would say that I am. I think I remember I've had this discussion before back in episode 2, where I thought, am I I can't speak. Am I an Umineko fan right now? Back then, and I remember thinking, nah, I don't think I am. Not because I didn't like it, but because it's way too early, and I still know enough about what's going on here to say that yet. But I think at this point I can, right? I'm well over halfway through the visual novel. You know what I mean? We've got this episode remaining and then 2 left, and then so I think at this point I can do that. And while yes, I haven't finished it, you can say the same thing for. Let's say someone who's read 600 chapters of Detective Conan or Case Closed. I don't know if you've heard of that. Yeah, sure, they're not caught up, to chapter 1100, but they're well over halfway, right? 700 chapters in or whatever. They're over halfway, and they know what's going on. They can call themselves a fan, right? So yeah, it's kind of ironic that I bring up Case Closed Detective Conan here because that's also a murder mystery story. I mean, murder mystery story. I remember it being very episodic. I remember watching Detective Conan when I was a kid. I remember that being very episodic, being the main character solves a murder over the course of an episode or two, either a murder or robbery or something, and then he uses his own that guy that acts like a detective, he uses him to solve the mystery, and then everything was resolved, and they find out who the culprit is, and then they move on next episode. It's very episodic like that. So yeah, I wonder how that concept has managed to keep going for over 1,100 chapters. Longer than One Piece, by the way. For anyone wondering, that's going on longer than One Piece. So anyone dragging on One Piece for being too long, go do that to Detective Conan too. Come on, y'all. Nah, I'm joking. But all right, yeah, we're back anyway. I went off the rails there. Let's keep going here. So last time, Kanon started going on the attack. First we finished the Jessica Kiria fight, and now Kanon stepped up to the plate, and he's going on the attack on Rosa. And a good question comes up is how do we interpret the Jessica Kiria fight? And it's tough to say, right? I feel like in actuality, Jessica didn't kill Kiria. You know what I mean? I don't think Jessica actually killed Kiria. Uh, but it's more of how do I interpret that sort of discussion that they had. And I did mention, I think, a little bit in a comment, in a reply to a comment, that I think it's about how the whole stuff about Kiria being envious for 18 years, and that Jessica can't compare because she's only been envious for a few years, 2 years, maybe 3 years. How long? Because of George and Shannon, um, right? That doesn't compare to Kiria, and I think the whole thing about Jessica's punch being really really slow, it's basically that I think that feelings get stronger over time, right? Beliefs get stronger over time. If you hold a belief for 20 years, that belief is a lot stronger than someone who's held the same belief or a different belief, maybe a contrasting belief, maybe for only 2 years. Your belief of 20 years is stronger because you've held on to it for so long. So breaking that habit or if you stop believing in that belief, it's a lot harder for someone that's believed it for 20 years, and it becomes a stronger belief. It becomes a stronger love. If you've loved someone for 20 years, that love is stronger than a newborn love sort of thing, right? And even then, how it feels like is different for different people. So Kitty is saying that Jessica's love doesn't compare to hers, and Kiri's been through hell for 18 years. I think it should be 12. Again, I still don't understand the whole 18 years thing, because I think it should be 12, because Asumu died 6 years ago, and she was together with Rudolph for theoretically 12 years, because that's around the time Bat was born. But okay, whatever. I don't understand that. I've already complained multiple times that I don't understand that, so I don't know why I'm complaining once again. You probably guys are probably annoyed by that by now. But anyway, um, so but the thing is, right? For someone else, you know, that 18 years may not hurt as much as it did for Kiria, and for someone else, a third person, let's say 8 years, could feel a lot more hurtful than for the 18 years felt like for Kiria, right? The 8 years could be that bad, right? Um, so it depends on the individual, and I feel like that's kind of what the magic world is going on about, right? About how, well, that's what Federine was talking about. How in the magic world, time is kind of it doesn't really make sense, you know, as according to the way it works in the real world, right? So, you know, 2 years can be 50 years, or 6 years can be 1,000 years in the case of Beato, right? And it's this kind of thing where, you know, it's kind of rough. It's kind of it's hard to really actually explain it. And I think the way I interpret that is that, you know, time is different for different people. Things feel different for different people, and yeah, beliefs get stronger over time. That's basically it. So that's how I choose to interpret the fight between Jessica and Kiria. But yeah, of course, there's a lot more fights in the series that I haven't properly analyzed yet, of course, because at the time I was on the side of magic doesn't exist, so I chose not to. Well, I chose not to look as super deeply into it, even though I did try to understand what the hell, why they were included in the story to begin with. I did try to understand that, but I didn't see it the same way I do now. So a lot of the magic fights back in episode 2, I remember Shannon fought Beat in episode 2 with George in the room as well. I wonder what that fight could have meant at the time as well, right? Maybe it was a challenging fight between Shannon wanted to love George and Beata saying no, it's too late. You're gonna feel disheartened again, just like you did with I don't know, with Battler, for example. I don't really know what that fight could have meant, but I do remember Beata screaming about Shannon being furniture and all that. So okay, anyway, moving on. Let's continue to Rosa, who she has her own uh, hurt from love. She also got pain by love. She's had to wait 9 years for her husband to come back, but I mean, doesn't seem like he is it? But I don't know. We'll see. It depends. But she's also saying that her 9 years don't compare to Kitty's 18 years. That's twice as much. So see that the whole thing of as time goes on, that sort of feeling of pain of love gets stronger. You can see that prevalent in Rosa here too. um. So yeah. Do also want to say that I love how Umineko doesn't have a specific genre. Umineko's, you know, at the start I thought Umineko was a murder mystery, and now it's kind of a romance, but it's not just. Umineko just has so many genres. There's so many things going on. It's a romance story, but it's also a murder mystery, but it's also a fantasy. You know what I mean? It's not a murder mystery, but it's also a fantasy, but it's also it's so many things. It really does um brings so many elements of different things into it. And as you guys mentioned in the comments, and also as my friend mentions to me too, it does have a lot of inspiration, or it does take a lot from Agatha Christie stories in its writing, right? And in murder mystery stories. So there's a lot of tropes here that I obviously don't know about because, again, I'm not a huge murder mystery person. I've not read a lot of the works from the 1920s, 1930s. I've not read those works. So I'm sure Umineko will appeal much more to people who are into those sort of stories, which is also probably why, uh, for me to figure out, you know, the secrets of Umineko and then, you know, the story it's trying to convey, right? The mysteries it's trying to convey. For me to understand them, it's probably going to take me longer than other people who have, you know, understood that the murder mystery genre better than I have. So yeah, you're just gonna have to bear with me for being an amateur in this case. Alright, let's keep reading. I've heard that in your youth you'd love to lie on that sofa, says Canon to Rosa. Oh, that rhymed. So this is right after Canon struck Rosa. Canon's about to kill off Rosa. wasn't a rose petal. Well, no, it's her blood. It was a drop of blood that had fallen from Rosa's eyes. Damn, what the hell? Rosa's eyes? What type of damage did you inflict on her, Kanon? In an instant, Kanon had beautifully and precisely cut just a single thread of Rosa's life. There was no wound on Rosa's body. There were only the few drops of blood that dripped down from her eyes. Her pain, her uncertainties, and her worries were all gone now. Right. She did say that she wished she might as well be. Didn't Rosa say that she might as well be? That she would have liked to be dead now because she could escape the hell of living like this. Wasn't it Rosa? Didn't Rosa say something like that last part? I may be remembering wrong, and I may be confusing this with that specific scene with another scene from a different series, but I'm not too sure. Alright. Unfortunate that Rosa has died so early here. First Twilight death. According to a commenter, that's another meme that's happened with Rosa in that since she's gotten so much screen time between episodes 2 and 4, it's become a meme since in the answer arcs or whatever that Rosa dies pretty early on in the first Twilights, and so far episode 5 and episode 6 has followed through with that. So Rosa dies early. Of course, y'all know I'm not a big fan of that, but I can only pray that she doesn't die so early in episode 7 and 8, and that she does continue to get screen time. But if she doesn't, I get it. I still, of course, am a big proponent of Cross deserves more screen time. So let's see if Cross does get more screen time or not, but I'm not too sure. Slowly she collapsed onto the sofa and lay there. That had been one of her most blissful habits during the most blissful time of her life.
おやすみなさいませ、ローザ様。あなたの地獄は今終わりました。
Your hell has ended. Yeah, okay, so I'm right. Rosa did say something on the lines of I wish I could die so that my hell could end. Something like that, yeah. Yeah, that was Rosa last part saying that. I'm not misremembering, am I? Kanon took a blanket out of a cupboard and gently covered Rosa with it. He would have looked to anyone, just as though Rosa was sleeping peacefully. Alright. Kanon, or Yoshia, should I say. Yoshia has respect for this death, the dead. Those demons had not exaggerated when speaking of love as a battle and a trial. In fact, although cruel, this could even be said to be an honest reflection of reality, in the sense that it made no attempt to hide the fact that to lose in love is to die. Yeah, okay.
これで僕のノルマは終わりだ。見届けたか、悪魔ども。
What do you think, Separ and Furfur? Separ and Furufuru, what do you think? Red shoes fake?
しまった。
I don't have fake red shoes, what do you mean? My red shoes are real! What is that OST name? Oh, baby! How could you kill my mama? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Witch of Origins, Maria! Hell yeah! Get ready, Yoshia! You're about to fight the Witch of Origins! Maria! Ishiromi! Here we go. Alright. One of the two great witches of Mariage Sorcière, Maria. Though she was just an apprentice, the power sleeping within her had impressed even Beatrice at the height of her strength. In Maria's eyes, though Rosa was the Black Witch, she was also the vessel of the mother she couldn't help but love. Her anger at having that stolen from her was near madness. Ooh, baby, Maria's real angry now. It's driving her to madness. Maria's attack was too emotional. Because of this, she didn't notice that Kanon had already disappeared in the span of a few short moments, and she released her barrage at what had become empty space. In the meantime, Kanon jumped from wall to wall around to Maria's back. I don't want to kill past my quota, but I will defend myself. Uryu? Sakutaro? Ooh, diplomatic immunity? Sakutaro, for the save, I won't let you target Maria or me. You're struggling, Kanon. The red trailing sword that extended from Kanon's hand dissipated in an instant. He managed to make it reappear, but when he tried to use it on Maria and Sakutaro again, it vanished once more. Because of Sakutaro's power, he was unable to make either of them the target of his attacks. Sakutaro's OP! Uh-oh. Maria's gone crazy, yo! Maria finally noticed where Kanon was, and she slowly turned around. Kanon made his sword materialize yet again. But no matter how often he tried, it kept fading out, like a flashlight with a bad battery. Just like Mama killed them? Is she talking about the bunnies? Or the one bunny? And Sakutaro? Baby. As Maria howled, the entire parlor was surrounded by a cube of red magic barriers. It was a locked room symbolizing a barrier that Kanon could never escape. Kanon cursed his bad luck. Even though he had fulfilled his goal in the demon's trial, if he was killed here, he'd be dragged off of the game board. A little more gentle than Mama was, okay. Oh. Ho. Yoshia, what did you do? Hey yo! Sayo for the save? So Maria's going to be another target for the first Twilight? That would mean we have 4 now. With Maria. Shannon, don't get in my way. Because yeah, if Maria's another victim, Rosa's a victim, Kiri's a victim, and Eva's a victim, then we need 2 more to fulfill the first Twilight of this episode. It's pointless, Shannon, no one can target Maria. But you said you were going to eliminate her, didn't you? Or at least, yeah. I'll simply protect myself, but why? Why do you have to protect yourself? You know what I mean? You got isn't Kanondon supposed to protect himself? It's almost as if you know, Kanon's protecting himself also depends on you being able to protect yourself. Sus. What? Why does your survival depend on Kanon's survival? A cylindrical red magical barrier surrounded Shannon as she stood in the center of the parlor. By the way, the person that I kind of agreed with someone in the comments for the combination of Shannon and Kanon. We you know, Shannon's name is Sayo and Kanon's name is Yoshia. So a commenter kind of gave me a suggestion, and I'm gonna go with Sayoshia, right? Because her name is Sayo, Yoshia's name is Yoshia, Kanon's name is Yoshia. Sayoshia. You see what I mean? They suggested something else, but it's because they said the Yoshida instead of Yoshia, which according to them was a mistake on their part. So I will continue with Sayoshia. I think that sounds good. But yeah, alright. So that's kinda the name I'm gonna give to these two together, Sayoshia. But I'm not gonna use that name so often. I think it's just easier to go with Sayo, because Sayoshia. That's a hard name to say. Alright, so I'm just gonna go Sayo. That's much easier to say. Sayo did this, Sayo did that. If I'm referring to the one singular person that isn't Shannon, isn't Kanon, and isn't Beato, you know, the Beato personality, if my theory is true, I'm gonna go with Sayo. I'm gonna refer to her as, or them, whoever this person is, as Sayo. And if I'm talking about Sayo as in specifically the Shannon personality, I'll probably just refer to the Shannon personality as Shannon, and I'll refer to the Kanon personality as Kanon or Yoshia. Doesn't matter. If I say Yoshia, I'm talking about Kanon. If I say Sayo, I'm talking about the whole entity, the whole person. If I say Beato, I'm talking about Beato. There's no issues there, right? Okay. A cylindrical red magical barrier surrounded Shannon as she stood in the center of the parlor. Its brightness and thickness grew, and its radius quickly expanded, filling up the room. It wasn't targeting Maria. Shannon was wielding this power to protect herself. So, Sakutaro's power didn't make it disappear. By now, the shield with Shannon at the center had covered up the entire room. Its power crushed Muddy and Sakutaro into the corner of the room. Ironically, it was a locked room barrier Muddy had set up to prevent Kanon from escaping that they were pressed against, and the two together had them completely trapped. You're going to release the barrier. Can't escape. Yeah, you're gonna have to release the barrier, yo. Even if it means Kanon's escape, at least it means your survival. Although... Checkmate, Maria-sama, may I? The entire room was filled with the red light of the shield, and the output and pressure were raised to their limits. Then, crushed between the shield and their own locked room barrier, Maria and Sakataro lost their forms, scattered into a spear of gold, and disappeared. Hmm. Does that mean...
ありがとう。
Does that mean that Maria's corpse can't be found now? Because it disappeared or whatever? She scattered into a gold stuff, dust and disappeared?
ここで消えるわけにはいかなかった。
こんなとこで負けてたら諦めがつかないもの。
Shano is good with shielding stuff after all. Kanon is the one that's good with slicing.
そうさ。こんなとこで負けてたら諦められない。
ゼパル様、フルフル様、私たちも共に試練を終えました。これでよろしいですか？
いやー、本当にお見事だね。二人とも文句なしだったよ。
では最後はベアトリーチェの番かしら。おや？彼女はどこに？
Where did she go?
もちろん彼女の選んだ生贄のところにさ。
Ooh, she has chosen a victim.
さあ、私たちもそこに行ってみよう。
Yeah? Please don't be Cross. Please just let Cross survive the first twilight. Come on, man. Nazi could be seen in her room. Nazi's gotten plenty of screen time. Alright. That's fine. That's fine. If she dies in the first twilight, alright. Acceptable at this point. The entirety of last episode was about her, so fine, visual novel. At least let Cross survive, okay? Nazi could be seen in her room. Cross had instructed her to retire for the night, but she couldn't afford to lie around sleeping on an important day like this. However, she was aware that she was the type to get excited easily, and that this sometimes held her husband back. So, though she didn't like it one bit, there was no way around it. Oh, Nazi. It was pretty close to the time for the break to end and the family conference to begin once again in the dining hall. Her husband would have to protect the Ishima family honor from his greedy siblings all by himself. If she grew emotional by his side, she would just tie him down. Though she knew that quietly waiting here was the best way she could support him, that didn't make the waiting any easier. Nazi opened a drawer and took out the small box she kept her treasures in. This was her secret box. The secret box. Is this the box that had the magic mirror in episode 2? If I remember correctly. I remember there being a box like that George had to open and then use the magic mirror and then whoa, it worked. Alright. Inside was everything from valuable items to mere odds and ends. However, they were all precious, memorable treasures in Nazi's eyes. She pulled a small pouch out of the box. 599 million ruins. She emptied its contents onto her palm. It was a kind of charm that her birth family had given her when she had married. It was a spirit mirror to ward off evil. It is the spirit mirror thing, okay. So it is the thing that we remembered learning about from episode 2. Her face was reflected in the mirror. She wasn't as young as she once was. No, I guess not. Recently, she had begun to see a bit of her parents and grandparents in her own face. So when she stared at her reflection in the mirror like this, she felt as though her soul had returned to the side of her parents and the family she had been born into.
お父様、お母様、夏日が不勉強なばかり、夫の支えになれません。
Of course, Her face in the mirror did not answer. However, Natsu continued.
夫を愛しているからこそ私はここで待っています。しかし愛は寄り添うものと私は思ってしまいます。ここでこうしているのが一番の協力になると理屈では分かっているのに、そんな自分に惨めさを感じてしまうのです。辛いですね。愛ゆえに待つの。
It is tough, isn't it? Waiting for the sake of love. I wonder. Okay, Natsu. Okay. Waiting for the sake of love. A tear plopped onto the mirror. Yeah, and Shannon had to wait 6 years. All the dear memories of her life at her parents' house rose up inside her. Sorry, Sayo, I should say, had to wait 6 years. But no, sorry. Beatrice had to wait 6 years. I have to be specific. That personality of hers had to wait 6 years. Right? I have to be specific about that. Alright. All dear memories of her life at her parents' house rose up inside her. Now was the time for her to follow her parents' example. When her father came home late, her mother would always sit up straight waiting for him, prepared for him to arrive at any moment. She would always wait for him, kneeling in the entrance hall. And no matter how late he came home, she would always wake up all her children and line them up to greet him. At the time, I only thought of her as being exceptionally strict. But at this age, I finally understand how strong she was, persevering in her love for her beloved husband, even after being left alone in charge of the house.
その夫への愛ゆえに見知らぬ赤子を抱かされるのが許されなかったのですね。
The sudden voice made Natsu jump up and look about the room. Here comes Beatrice, or Chick Beato, I should say. When she did, there stood a Western lady wrapped in an extravagant dress.
誰です？
Natsu was confused. There was no one like this in this mansion. However, though this was supposedly her first time meeting this person, it felt as though she had seen her somewhere before. Her anger at the ruffian who had snuck into her private room, and her confusion over the appearance of someone she didn't know caused her mind to go blank. So much so that it took quite a bit of time before she realized that this was the witch of the portrait.
あなたが19年前のあの日に見知らぬ赤子を殺めたことに
I won't
私は
hold
罪
sin
を
against
問い
you.
ません。
Okay, so Beato's aware of her murdering of the baby 19 years ago, which means if Chick Beato's aware of it, that means Shannon's aware of it, as we know, which means Sayo, the main body, whoever it is also aware of it. So I mean, we already mentioned, I've already mentioned before, Sayo, like I said, I refer to Sayo as the singular person that owns the body, because I feel like the Shannon personality is the one that comes out the strongest, more so than Kanon's, more so than Yoshiya's. But you could refer to the person as Yoshiya too, whatever. Whoever is the owner, I feel like, they know about this baby from 19 years ago, and they know that Nazi murdered, quote unquote, the baby from 19 years ago. How did they know? We know Nazi confessed to that last episode, but how does Sayo know? Who told her about it? Or him, I don't know, that person. How do they know? I don't know. I don't know. You know exactly what she's talking about. Beata had chosen Nazi as her sacrifice. It was because of what Nazi had done to battler. Right! Right! That baby was supposed to be called Battler, right? That baby was called Battler. Ah! Now, yeah, it's. Oh, this is getting confusing now. Ushiruma Battler is not Ushiruma Asumi's son. Ah, yeah, that's another mystery that I haven't figured out yet, have I? Yeah, how is that? How is that? Ah, I'm struggling. Okay, let's keep reading. That's a struggle. Beato didn't know much about the details of Battler's birth. However, after discovering the fragment of the previous game, she had learned that there was a chance that Battler was the baby that Nazi had pushed off a cliff 19 years ago. You're saying that that baby survived 19 years ago and that baby ended up being Battler? How did that baby end up being connected with Rudolph or Kyrie though? Although that was just a blue wedge that Battler had used to protect Nazi from being framed, Beato thought it might have been a confession from Battler himself. And if that was the case, to her, Nazi was an enemy who probably forced Battler to live a painful life. When I kill you for the sake of my love, please don't hold that against me either. Beato slowly stuck out her arms, and with both hands, she squeezed the air in front of her. That squeeze tightened around Nazi's throat. Nazi's heels lifted off the ground, and a faint purple hand shape appeared around her throat. Nazi frantically scratched at her throat, trying to stop whatever was strangling her, but there was nothing there. So, to an outsider, it just looked as though Nazi was standing on her toes in anguish, scratching at her own throat. Okay, check Beato. As Nazi twisted in agony, something she had been grasping fell from her grip. It rolled over to Beato, who dropped her gaze to see what it was. It was Nazi's spirit mirror. When Beato peered into it, there was a loud crack like a burst of electricity. Ooh. That sound released Nazi from the invisible hands and made Beato topple backwards like a doll. Ooh, the spirit mirror got her. I wonder what the spirit mirror could signify. What is it about that spirit mirror that Nazi got from her family that is so powerful against Beato, against Czech Beato? I don't get that yet. Because I thought those effects weren't supposed to hurt Beato. We know spiderwebs didn't affect this Beato, Czech Beato, right? And we know that that scorpion charm also didn't affect Czech Beato. But the spirit mirror does. Why? Coughing, Nazi tried to comprehend what was going on around her. Beato, whose head was still reeling and foggy as though she had hit it against something hard, slowly attempted to get to her feet. Her eyes were bewildered, as though even she didn't really understand what had happened.
何なんですか。これは意外だ。雲の巣を触っても平気だったそなたが霊境はダメだというのか。
That's what I said. I said the same thing, Elder Beato. Why? Why is the spirit mirror affecting her?
私にも何が何だか分かりません。一体何が。
I don't know. She had thought that only Beato the Elder possessed non-human weak points, such as getting burned by spiderwebs and words and having her power sealed by spirit mirrors. However, for some reason, the spirit mirror alone could apparently affect her as well. Even she could understand what about the spirit mirror could have such an overpowering effect on her. But Natsu was different. She instantly realized that the reason for the hesitation of this unearthly being, the switch of the portrait, had to be the power of the mirror. What does a mirror do? Okay, wait. Let's think about it. Why is the spirit mirror so powerful? Why does it affect Sheikh Beato and Beato in general so much? Let's think about it. Let's try to interpret it. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Oh! Of course! Right! When you look in the mirror, you see yourself! Obviously! Hey yo! What I said there, out of context, what I said there probably sounds so stupid. Oh my god! Holy crap! Imagine you put that clip out of context, you show it to someone that's never read the Umineko, and I'm just going, oh, of course, you know, when you look in the mirror, you see yourself. They're probably like, what is this clown doing? What are you talking? But I think I figured it out now. I think I think that's really funny though. Hey yo, someone clip that. It sounds ridiculous, but it's such a simple realization to make. Of course it makes sense now. Why does the spirit mirror affect her so much, right? I've already come to the conclusion that Sayo has multiple personality disorder. Okay, she has the Shanon personality, the Kano personality, and the Beato personality, right? And what would happen if she looked in the mirror? Let's say she's wearing the witch dress, she looks like Beato, she looks in the mirror, she gets confused. Oh wait, who am I? Which personality is this? Oh no! Right? That reaction makes sense to me. Of course, that's the power of the magic mirror. She looks at it, and she goes, wait a minute, am I the Beato personality? No wait, maybe I'm Yoshia right now? Am I Kanon? Oh, am I Shanon? Who am I? Whoa, so many personalities, whoa, which one's the real one? Who am I? Wow! And that's the hesitation, right? And Nazi probably doesn't really understand what's going on, but she realizes that, okay, this mirror for some reason is causing her to go crazy. Alright, let's just point this mirror at her, have her stare at herself. That's how I interpret it right now. That would make sense, actually. That would make a lot of sense. Why this mirror is so powerful. But I wonder, is it specifically Nazi's mirror, or can any mirror affect her, if that makes sense? Right? Because Nazi's mirror is supposed to be the special thing because it was given to her parents and everything, but can't any sort of mirror surface affect Shanon? Or is there something about Nazi's mirror specifically that affects Sayo like this? I don't know. I haven't gone that far to a conclusion, but okay. So she rapidly crawled across the floor and picked up the mirror. Then she stuck it out so that Beato could see it. Beato still didn't fully understand what was happening, so, still sitting down, she looked vacantly at it. And this time, both of them understood the situation completely. Beata realized that the mirror was working some hateful power against her. And Natsu realized that the spirit mirror had the power to repel witches. Yes, struggled in finding out which personality of yours is the real one.
それはお前が横島の魔女だからです。霊言新たなるこの霊境は邪悪な存在の全てを退けるのです。それを向けないで。
Don't point it at me. With the spirit mirror still held out, Natsu cautiously closed the gap between them. She was cautious, so as to prevent the witch from suddenly lashing out and sealing the mirror, but she steadily moved forward to corner this evil.
あなたが何者なのか私には分かりません。分かるのはあなたが私を殺そうとしたこと、そしてこの霊境にひるむ邪悪な存在であるということです。退きなさい、邪悪め。
Beata didn't understand what was happening herself. She didn't know why she had to fear the spirit mirror. However, when she tried to look at the bright light let off by the spirit mirror, it pierced her eyes. She understood that she had to be afraid, even if she didn't understand why. By now, Beata realized that the spirit mirror was both terrifying and harmful. As it came closer to her, she felt an increasingly strong burning sensation over her whole body, as though someone was approaching her with a hot iron. She couldn't even open her eyes because of the mirror's bright, painful glint. It's no use. Why? Why is this musty mirror so... If I lose here, I'll be the only one to fail this trial. Come on, Chick Beato. I'm actually rooting for you, Chick Beato. Kinda. I would like to see what your success could bring. Just like George-san and Shannon-san, and Jessica-san, and Kanon-san. I want Battler-san to see value in me, and treasure me. I've finally managed to admit that, so I can't fail now. I love Battler-san. I want him to notice me, and I want him to recognize and accept my feelings. Notice me, Daddy? Okay, I mean, come on, she does call Battler father, but okay, she stopped doing that. Alright, fair, I'll stop. My reason for calling him father is as I dedicated myself to him. See, she literally said it herself right there. See, come on. Was that no one helps a parent expecting something in return, and that helped me come to terms with getting nothing back. It was a deception to fool myself with. I love Battler-san, and I want him to recognize that. I admit it. I won't hide from it any longer. I was born to love Battler-san, and to have him love me back. determination had come too late. If she had possessed it since the beginning, she would probably have finished off Nazi on the spot without any hesitation. Because she had wavered, it had taken time to kill Nazi, and things had ended up like this. But now, I am resolved. I want to love Battler-san. I want him to love me.
だからここで負けられない。バトラさんのために私は生まれてきたのだから。
そう、それが
聞きたかった。
The 7 stakes, ayo! G-Man Discharger, ooh baby. Following a sound like a beetle banging off all the walls in the room, the spirit mirror was knocked out of Nazi's outstretched hand. It fell onto the floor, and the stake flying around the room pierced through it with a crash. Let's go, Lucifer!
久しぶりの獲物が古ぼけた鏡一枚だなんて、私を愚弄するにも程があるわ。
So Lucifer is the personification of being proud in oneself then? So Lucifer came in for the save because Chick Beato felt proud in her love for Battler, maybe?
ベアトリーチ様、試練の遂行を。逃げられます。
You must complete your trial, she'll get away.
誰か来てください。誰か。
Now that the spirit mirror she had been relying on had been smashed, and another strange demon had been added to the fold, Nazi could do nothing but run for it. So yeah, Lucifer only appeared after Chick Beato did that actual resolve thing, right? However, if Nazi made a scene and people gathered, the anti-magic toxin would burn Beato. Now was Beato's last chance.
ありがとう、ルシファーさん。覚悟、後ろ見やナチ。
Is Chick Beato, does she have the same voice actress as normal Beato? Once again, Beato choked the empty air. This time, she wouldn't let her escape. Yeah, not this time. She had to end Nazi's pain right away, for her sake if nothing else. But her strength wasn't enough. While scratching at her throat, Nazi fought to escape the room. Her shaking hand stretched out to the lock on the door. A locked room is one of the definitions that makes a witch. Even unlocking the door would strengthen the anti-magic toxin a little. Since Beato was at her limit even within the locked room, if Nazi undid that lock, Beato's power would weaken immediately, and Nazi would surely escape into the hallway. Their strengths were matched. However, Nazi began to surpass Beato slightly. The power of the living to live is fundamentally stronger than the power of magic. Of course, Beato was mustering all her might. However, Nazi was just slightly stronger.
十分だ。ルシファー、やれ。
ギョイ。
Battler ordered Lucifer at the stage, okay? Bread of Life. Lucifer transformed into a stake and, like the time she had smashed Nazi's spirit mirror, flew violently around the room. Then she struck Nazi's forehead. Nazi crumpled slowly. When Beato saw this, she also fell to her knees, breathing hard.
ねえゼパル、これってありなの？ベアトリーチは自分の力だけで試練を成し遂げていないわ。
そうだねフルフル。確かに試練は誰の助けも借りずに成し遂げなくてはならない。
So Chick Beata has to do this trial once again, which is why we'll get a sixth victim and not only five. We'll get a sixth victim because Chick Beata has to do a retry. Gotcha.
でもね、ひょっとしたらそれには例外があるんじゃないかしら。
愛する二人は互いで一人だもの。これは手助けじゃない。
バトラさん。
たかだか第一の晩からハラハラさせるな、お前は。
申し訳ございません。追いつけを守らなくて。
追いつけ？
その部屋でおとなしくしていなくて。
Beato hung her head apologetically. When he saw this, Battler scratched his head uncomfortably.
それを言ったら俺も申し訳なかった。言葉を選ばなかった。
いいえ、お父様。いえ、
Yeah.
バトラさんは何も悪いことはありません。
Yeah, chill out. Be careful with calling me father, please.
いいぜ、好きに呼べばいい。
No. 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 Call me Battler, not father, please. Battler had always looked at the new Beatrice sternly. However, that was gone from his expression now.
確かにかつてのお前は俺をバトラと呼びつけで呼んでいた。俺は最初お前にそれと同じ呼び方を求めて押し付けていたかもしれない。しかしそんなのに意味はないんだ。お前はベアトだがお前はお前だ。好きに呼べばいい。
バトラさん。
But she still has to call me Battler because that's what I want. Let's go.
そうだな、その呼び方がいいな。さすがにお父様は俺の趣味じゃねえぜ。
Facts. That's definitely not my thing. Until this point, she had hesitated just to say Battler's name at all. Even if she had known that Battler wanted her to say his name without honorifics, that would have been beyond her right now. And even if she had been able to call him that, doing so could have hurt Battler even more. However, now, she was allowed to call Battler by his name. 1 second. Okay. If you just looked into her eyes, there would be no need to describe just how happy this made her feel.
ゼパルとフルフルに聞いた。おかしなゲームが始まっているようだな。
はい、勝手なことをしてすみません。
いや、いい。そういう無軌道で何を始めるかわからないところも実にお前らしい。それにまあゲームの趣旨も聞いてる。二人一組で挑むのが正しいことになってるらしいな。
その通りです、バトラ卿。
Yes, Lord Battler, of course. Give me my respect. Yes, sir. I'm Lord Battler.
もしも見事我らの試練を勝ち残れたなら、我らはあなたたち二人を祝福し魔法の奇跡を授けましょう。
こいつらがベアトの黄金蝶のブローチに力を与えてたらしい。 だからその効果は保証済みってわけさ。俺とお前の腐れ縁ももう随分になる。たまにはこういう遊びがあってもいいだろうぜ。
バトラさ
おや、聞いたかいフルフル。バトラ教も試練に参加するようだ。
Okay, so Butler's going to be done doing the last killing. That's the okay. The final death of the first Twilight.
ん。驚くには値しない。だってこれは最初から分かっていたことだもの。ようこそ我らの試練へ、バトラ教。
Heyo.
ではあなたは誰を生贄に？
Ooh, good question.
俺の仕事はすでに
Let's go! Look at me flexing! I'm like, who will my sacrifice be? Pfft, I'm way out of you. I already sacrificed someone. I'm that good. I sacrificed someone and had time to go save Chick Beato. Look at me go!
確認するといい。
Go check if you want. What a flex, bro.
かしこまりました、バトラ教。さあフルフル、確認してこよう。
ええ、そうしましょう。でもゼバル、これで愛し合う6人はみんな試練を成し遂げてしまったわ。
Wow, so the first fight is over. Let's go.
次はどうすればいいかしら。
6人の覚悟は本物だ。さらに次の試練で試すとしよう。
Oh, there's more. Ooh, okay. The trial doesn't end here. The two noisy demons disappeared. It seemed that they had left to go check on the sacrifice Batra had killed. But it also seemed that they had done so in order to not to bother Batra and Beato, who could finally look each other in the eye and talk.
ここまでの物語はいかがですか？
That's actually a very good place to end it. Hachijo Toya, or whoever you wanna be called, you know, Featherine. Good place to end it. Yeah, we've continued on with our tale. I hope you guys have enjoyed this part of Umineko and their crime. You know, their love trials continue. We've witnessed Rosa's death, the end of that, Nazi's death, and of course Battler's done in with someone too. So we've gotten all 6 sacrifices of the first fight this episode, so we're already off to a better start than we were in episode 5, where we only got a few deaths, really. We barely got a first Twilight, if you even call it that, because we didn't get a 6th death, and Hideyoshi's the only one to die in the quote-unquote second Twilight, so the 5th game was hella weird, so the 6th game seems like this so far. We're actually gonna follow the Twilight order as usual, and yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this part, at least as much as I've enjoyed reading it, and I'll see you guys next time for more. Alright, y'all. Peace.